Have you ever experienced that despite all your efforts, men simply don't genuinely connect with you, as if there's something invisible that repels them, even when everything seems to be going smoothly? Carl Jung stated that what truly attracts us to another person isn't what they display, but what they awaken in our unconscious mind. And that's precisely where the secret lies. It's not about beauty or cheap seduction. What makes a man go crazy for you in a profound and almost uncontrollable way are the behaviors that touch layers of the psyche that he himself doesn't understand. Picture being that woman who leaves invisible marks that don't fade with time, that don't get confused with ordinary memories. We're discussing something beyond the game of conquest. We're talking about the archetypal energy that emanates from your behavior, from how you inhabit your own soul. Jung would call this psychic magnetism. And it's precisely this force that distinguishes an ordinary presence from an unforgettable woman. These behaviors you'll discover today aren't ready-made formulas, but authentic manifestations of your inner power. When Jung spoke about individuation, he referred to the process of becoming who you truly are. And it's this path that awakens genuine passion in others. Men connect with what is authentic, with what is rare, with what is free. And a woman who knows herself deeply has the gift of awakening in any man the desire to stay, not because she needs him, but because her presence reveals something he doesn't find in anyone else. But pay attention. What you'll hear here might transform not only your way of relating to men, but mainly how you see yourself. Because before making someone go crazy for you, you need to be capable of going crazy for yourself, being passionately committed to your own truth. Only then, according to Jung, does love stop being projection and become encounter. So, take a deep breath, open your mind, and prepare to dive into 10 behaviors deeply connected with Jung's teachings. Behaviors that don't just attract, but awaken the masculine soul at a level that few understand. You didn't arrive here by chance. Your unconscious is calling you back to yourself, and it's there, in this reunion, that everything begins. Carl Jung believed that authenticity is an archetypal force. When you act according to your essence, without trying to imitate models or please external standards, something powerful happens. You become magnetic. Men don't fall in love with a superficial image. They lose themselves in what is genuine, even if they don't understand it rationally. The woman who walks firmly within herself carries a mystery that intrigues, challenges, and invites the other to discover more. The first behavior that generates this irresistible connection is the authentic expression of emotions. This doesn't mean being emotionally explosive, but rather being honest with yourself. When you feel something and honor that feeling, instead of hiding it to appear controlled, you communicate that you have a mature relationship with your soul. Jung said that repressed emotions don't die. They bury themselves alive and return in distorted forms. A man recognizes, even unconsciously, when a woman has emotional courage. The second behavior is presence. It seems simple, but it's rare. In a world where everyone is distracted, the woman who looks into eyes, who listens with attention, who breathes deeply before responding, transmits a silent strength. She doesn't compete with time, she fills it. According to Jung, presence is a reflection of integration between the conscious and unconscious. It's the moment when the ego stops fighting with the soul, and this is enchanting. The third behavior is not being afraid of silence. Many men get scared of women who talk too much to fill the void. A woman who knows how to inhabit silence transmits inner security. Jung saw silence as a mirror of the soul. It shows who is at peace with their own thoughts. When you don't need to speak to be noticed, you become unforgettable. Finally, in this first part, it's essential to understand that authenticity is a continuous behavior, not an isolated event. It's not a mask that you put on, but an identity that reveals itself. And when a man feels he's facing a woman who isn't pretending, he feels invited to also remove his own masks. This is the beginning of any true love, according to depth psychology. For Jung, the process of individuation, becoming who you are completely, is the greatest gift someone can offer to the world. The fourth behavior that drives any man crazy is precisely this silent journey of the woman who knows herself, who transforms herself, and who never stops growing. Men don't just fall in love with the woman you are now, but with the woman you're becoming. Women who are in constant evolution are fascinating because they carry an aura of mystery. Not that forced mystery, full of games and manipulations, but the natural mystery of someone who has a rich inner life. Jung said that the feminine soul is like a deep ocean. It doesn't reveal itself all at once. And the man who senses this depth feels attracted as if by an ancestral call. He wants to dive in. The fifth behavior is not making the man the center of your existence. This might seem paradoxical, but it's one of the most powerful keys. Men feel attracted to what they don't completely dominate. When he perceives that you have your own universe, passions, purposes, friendships, spirituality, he values you as a complete entity, not as a satellite that orbits his presence. The sixth behavior is having your own opinion and expressing it with gentleness. Jung affirmed that the true power of women isn't in shouting, but in sustaining their truth with firmness and sweetness. The man who feels he can learn from you, who is challenged respectfully, feels stimulated emotionally and intellectually. This is a connection that surpasses the surface. Ending this part without talking about self-control would be incomplete. It's not about repressing yourself, but about being the owner of your own emotions. The woman who reacts impulsively loses psychic strength. The one who feels, processes and responds with maturity emanates an energy that Jung would call the presence of integrated shadow. That is, a woman who knows her own darkness and still chooses to act with consciousness. This is irresistible. The seventh behavior that drives any man crazy is conscious femininity. Not the femininity that imitates outdated patterns, but that which is connected with the sacred feminine, the energy of creation, sensitivity, intuition. Jung saw this energy as a universal archetype, capable of healing and transforming everything around. When a woman is aligned with this force, she doesn't need to seduce. She simply is. This conscious femininity expresses itself in caring for the body, for the soul, for the environment around. A woman who takes care of herself with affection sends a clear message: I consider myself worthy. This activates in the masculine unconscious the natural impulse to care and value as well. Jung said that love begins within and only becomes true when mirrored outside. Therefore, a woman who treats herself with affection creates a magnetic field. The eighth behavior is knowing how to embrace. In a world where most people judge or correct, the woman who knows how to listen without condemning is like a refuge. The man who finds this presence feels he can lower his weapons, show his pains, share his fears. Embracing isn't submission, it's emotional strength in the form of empathy. It's the manifestation of Jung's maternal archetype, not in the literal sense, but as healing energy. Another enchanting behavior is lightness. Light women aren't those who live laughing all the time, but those who know how to dissolve tensions, laugh at themselves and see poetry in chaos. Jung taught that the unconscious communicates through images, dreams and symbols, and lightness is like a symbol that declares, even in pain, I choose love. Audrey, this stance builds a bridge between souls, and connection transcends the physical realm. The final attitude in this section is enthusiasm for life. When a woman resonates with small things, when her eyes sparkle and her gestures carry soul, she becomes contagious. A man might admire a beautiful woman, but he falls for the one with a vibrant soul. Jung stated that libido, vital energy, isn't solely found in sexual desire, but in everything that awakens passion. And the woman passionate about life becomes impossible to ignore. The ninth attitude that makes any man desire you deeply is the ability to withdraw. Yes, you heard correctly. Knowing when to step back is a rare virtue. Jung explained that the unconscious needs space to process, to feel absence, to understand another's value. When you give too much, the other becomes numb. But when you know how to withdraw with grace, you create presence, even in absence. Conscious distancing isn't punishment, it's wisdom. It's understanding that sometimes love reveals itself in emptiness. When you disappear a little, the other must feel your absence to remember how special your presence is. Jung saw this as the balance between masculine and feminine, the dance between going and coming, between containing and surrendering. When done well, this movement generates desire, admiration, and respect. This attitude also shows that you are complete. The woman who knows how to be alone, who appreciates her own company, sends a profound message to a man's unconscious. I don't need you, I choose you. This difference changes everything. Nobody wants to be necessary. Everyone wants to be desired. Jung said that true freedom lies in not depending emotionally on another, and this generates a rare type of attraction. At the same time, it's necessary to keep the heart open. Distancing yourself isn't closing yourself off. It's simply retreating when necessary to reconnect with yourself. A woman who knows how to return better than she left, who brings lessons from silence and transforms them into presence, becomes unforgettable. Jung would call this soul alchemy, the process of transforming pain into wisdom. The woman who understands this cycle, give, withdraw, return, transforms into a force of nature. And men feel this. He can't explain it, but he senses he's before something much greater than a beautiful body or interesting conversation. He's before a mystery that transforms him just by existing. And this, according to Jung, is the pure manifestation of the sacred feminine. The 10th attitude is the most important of all, loving yourself with intensity. Jung said that self-love isn't vanity, it's psychological health. When a woman truly loves herself, she creates an energetic field where only those who respect her can enter. And this, by itself, already eliminates toxic, dishonest, and fragile relationships. True love begins at the soul's center. This woman who loves herself doesn't beg, doesn't insist, doesn't erase herself. She listens to herself, embraces herself, chooses herself, and therefore becomes chosen, not out of necessity, but out of merit. Jung explained that the human psyche is moved by internal images, and when you see yourself as worthy, the world responds. A man feels, even without understanding, when you value yourself, and this makes him value you too. Loving yourself also means imposing limits. The woman who doesn't tolerate disrespect isn't rigid, she's wise. Jung called this protecting the soul. When you allow less than you deserve, you're telling the universe you accept crumbs. When you position yourself with firmness, you're affirming, I am whole and only receive what matches my wholeness. And this positioning affects even the deepest level of masculine psyche. Finally, the woman who loves herself is integrated light and shadow. She knows she has flaws, fears, traumas, but she's not ashamed of them. She transforms them. And it's this courage to be whole, to not hide her dark parts, that makes her irresistible. Jung said that to love is to accept another's shadow without trying to fix them. This is only possible when you've already learned to love your own. These 10 attitudes aren't magic formulas. They are profound invitations for a reunion with your soul. And when you inhabit this internal space with truth, any man who crosses your path will be touched by something greater than himself, something that will inevitably make him crazy for you. Perhaps throughout this video, you've recognized yourself in some attitudes, or perhaps you've realized how much you've lost yourself trying to please, conquer, or be accepted. That's okay. Jung said that the individuation process, the path to becoming who you really are, begins exactly at the moment consciousness awakens. Today, this consciousness has lit up in you, and this is powerful because no woman needs to mold herself to what's expected of her to be loved. True love begins when you stop trying to be the ideal woman and start being yourself. Each of the attitudes we've discussed here isn't a technique to capture a man, it's a mirror that reveals your soul. And when your soul shines, no genuine heart resists. You become presence, depth, truth, a woman who doesn't scream for attention, but who attracts gazes by how she positions herself in the world. A woman who doesn't beg for affection, because she loves herself so much that no one would dare love her halfway. This is the silent revolution that transforms relationships when you transform first. Remember, love that lasts is what's born from authenticity. Men don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with truth, with soul, with mystery. Jung affirmed that the feminine soul, when in harmony with its own archetypes, awakens in others the deepest impulse for transformation. You don't need to change who you are. You only need to return to being who you always were before fear, comparisons, masks. And this return is magnetic. Allow this video to not be just another content you watch, but a turning point. From here forward, observe yourself with more compassion, choose yourself with more firmness, and love yourself with more depth. Because when you truly love yourself, your soul's vibration changes, and everything around changes with it. Jung said that what we don't face in ourselves, we will encounter as destiny. May you face your essence and embrace it, because this is freedom. If something inside you was touched by this video, then it fulfilled its mission. Share in the comments which of these attitudes resonated most with you, or which you wish to strengthen from now on. This helps us understand what most inspires you. Like the video if it spoke to your soul. Subscribe to the channel to continue walking with us on this path of self-knowledge, self-love, and profound transformation. The journey is just beginning, and we're here to walk it with you.